Yeah, this is going to be a huge one. And I don't know how the Democrats are ever going to wriggle themselves away from this. And it's up to us to keep the pressure on. Biden is now, it's become very obvious. He was the puppet president. How did they miss it? So they were either complicit in the cover up or they were too stupid to not realize it. Who was controlling Biden? Who was doing the auto pen? Who signed off on all of these, say, pardons? Because it wasn't Biden. He wasn't even there. Nor was he aware of what was actually happening. So it's pretty breathtaking. That's something. This is like something out of a Hollywood movie, except it's real life, and we're all living with those consequences. But at least it's now open, because what if Biden was still there, and if the Democrats could have gotten away with it, they would have had him reelected. It was a perfect setup. They could use this guy. He's the fall guy. Push whatever legislation you want to open up that border, or put men and women's sports, just whatever insanity, and then just make it look like, hey, it's just Biden that's controlling everything. You got an issue with it? Hey, blame him. So not the puppet masters pulling the strings behind the scenes. So here we are. So President Biden's health is the greatest political scandal in American history. New book that came out over the weekend, Original Sin by Jake Tapper, who was kind of complicit in the cover-up, but is now capitalizing on it with his book, and a bunch of anonymous insiders who seem to know everything happening the whole time. Didn't say anything, and there was Biden's mental decline until they could cover it up no more. And they had him reluctantly drop out and tried to push Kamala over the finish line, but that didn't work either. And of course, they did try to switch the subject on it as well. So when the focus is on the media for, oh my God, I can't believe they were covering this whole thing up. Now all of a sudden it's, oh my God, Biden they just found out he's got stage 4 prostate cancer to the bone, just a few months to live. So how dare the people in MAGA or the Republicans? Is shameless. How could they criticize this poor old man with cancer? It's the way that they change the narrative on us. It's breathtaking. But, this is how things work in the real world, unfortunately. Sunday night, less than a day before the devastating tell-all was due to drop. And also, the leaked audio tapes from special counsel Hur in 2023, which they did not want released for very obvious reasons, because anybody could tell that this man had some kind of a dementia. Why are we parading him around as the president of the United States and the most powerful man on the planet when he's clearly not all there? And somehow they weren't aware of it until the other day. Yeah, ridiculous. So they're covering up, they're distracting you from one scandal, and then they're revealing there's another scandal. So they just have nowhere to run, and that's good. They brought this upon themselves, and we find out who was actually running the show and hold these people accountable. The evil mainstream media that went along with this, and all the people that were around him in the White House, all of his advisors, and all the people trying to pull strings from outside, like perhaps a Hillary Clinton or an Obama. I guess Hillary Clinton was in regular communication with her people on the inside, and it's documented that Obama was happy. This would have been a good scenario for Obama, where he could just hang out, and no pressure of having to do the daily activities as the president. He could just hang out in Martha's Vineyard and just sit in the basement in his sweatpants and control the commander-in-chief wherever, just threw a little earpiece in his ear. So I don't have that clip. You'll just have to trust me, bro, that is out there.
If I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats, looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony. I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that want to fight over the power and the agenda of this aggressive, well, regressive leftist party, not progressive like they used to be. I'm going to run a couple of old clips from shows that I made 4 or 5 years ago on reports expressing this very concern. Here's one of them, but it should have been pretty obvious. I thought it was pretty obvious.
Creepy, corrupt, fading. This is the best that the Democratic Party could do. In 4 years of nonstop attacks on Trump, you'd think, and a big field, you'd think they'd find somebody better, but apparently it didn't go that well. He's the perfect puppet for the globalists, so I guess that's really what matters. Is
perfect puppet for the globalists, absolutely. Who is that handsome young man there? He's a smart kid.
What they can convince the public to vote for. The poor guy probably doesn't know what planet he's on half the time, so
how did I know? He doesn't know what planet he's on half the time, but somehow the mainstream media and all of their resources, all these paid liars in the corporate media benefited themselves by actually pushing conspiracy theories and covering up for Biden's failing health. Now the Democrats are forced to admit it's either, yes, you were complicit and you knew that he was cognitively declined, but you were too big of a coward to say it. You only cared about your job, not your integrity. And you knowingly perpetuated a hoax on the American people. Or you were just so stupid you didn't realize that he was cognitively declined and you said nothing. So either way, they're screwed.
Whom do you blame for the decision of him to run for re-election and the decision to hide his declining abilities as much as they were able to?
Well, look, at the top end, you have to blame him because he made the decision. But he was, and you
blame the man with dementia.
Your book reflects this in many different ways. He was shielded by a coterie of advisors and his family. They were in this confirmation bubble, and
they saw an opportunity. It's like you have no pressure of actually being the president, like a Hillary or an Obama or one of these shadow advisors we had never heard of before. So you can just use Biden to be your rubber stamp, your auto pen, and push forth all of your most rotten, weird, regressive policies, stuff that you'd never do yourself. And then, hey, who cares? And then Biden is going to die in a few years anyway. So it's quite the plan. But at least these guys kind of faced the music and had some clarity again. We'll keep running.
Shielded. They tried to shield the world from his decline, and they tried to shield him from his own standing and his polling numbers and so on. And so at the end of the day, I have to point the finger at the people around him who didn't do him a service by encouraging him to continue. I think
okay. Well, why would they? Look at all the power they have. Yeah, I mean, if these people actually had a soul and they had some integrity, yeah, then maybe they would have. They've been like, yeah, this is wrong, or this is elder abuse. We got to be better than this. Or you take advantage of that situation and you get, hey, this is a perfect opportunity to put forth the craziest leftist agenda that's ever been perpetuated on America, and we will have none of the blame.
I was shocked to see his condition when he came out, and so was the world. And that wasn't the first time he was in that condition. The book makes it very, very clear. There are people who knew and said nothing. And that is a crime against this republic. And I think the Democrats are going to pay for a long time.
That's the part I like right there. So Committed a crime. That's where I get the title there. Democrats committing a crime against the Republic. That they should have to pay for this, for their credibility. They're going to have to be a major house cleaning. DNC and all of the leftist media. This is from the James O'Keefe group, showing that Obama is very involved. So was Hillary Clinton, running the White House under Biden. And then he names the who's who of the advisors. An interesting revelation into how things actually work. So it doesn't sound like Biden really had much to do with day-to-day operations. He has, 5 trusted advisors. He's been in Washington, 40 years? So he's got his trusted people around him, and they do most of the stuff. And then you've got, the Obama and the Hillarys calling in, and they've got their people in there, and they're influencing decision-making. And who knows who else of the donor class and what have you. But they had a nice system going until the dementia got so bad that they couldn't carry him over the finish line. And then when that got revealed, now they're switching it to, now he's got this major cancer. But they're going to act like they didn't know that while he was still running? Or while they were planning to have him go for a re-election, knowing full well this guy had some severe cancer. Again, it was the perfect plan until it wasn't so perfect. And now this could really backfire spectacularly, and it should. This should be the end of them. And heads need to roll for something like this. There has to be accountability for basically, it's just like elder abuse, except the elder is the president of the United States, and they're using him for his auto pen and what have you. Crazy. Not only did the Biden White House and campaign cover up his deteriorating mental abilities, but with Sleepy Joe's weekend announcement, it's evident Democrats also hid the disease from the public throughout his term. Yeah, I don't know how they thought they were going to get away with this. He was just going to die in a few months, and they were going to be like, oh, we didn't know he had stage 4. I don't know. They think they can just control reality in the media forever, and they're not. They're going to learn the hard way, I hope. Or we're just lost as a country if we can't get some accountability on this. Oh, and there's Joe Scarborough, who shamelessly told everybody this was the best Biden he had ever seen. Sharp as a tack.
Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it.
No, he must have known the whole time. Balls on that guy. We've blurred these subjects together quite a bit. Democrats committed a crime against the Republic. Yes. Democrats were trying to hide Biden's cancer away. Yes. Shadow government using Biden as worst political scandal. I think so. Is there something where, there's the Benghazi stuff, or Operation Fast and Furious. There's a lot of big scandals out there. The Hunter Biden laptop, but just using the one man's entire 4-year term presidency as a puppet to push a radical agenda on the people. It has to be the worst political scandal. And then they gave themselves all blanket pardons at the end. Yeah, on top of it. Yeah, it is. It's got to be the biggest political scandal in history.